the day I die. Swing those hips around, can't stop, roll back down. My ladies, short, tall, thin or wide, always down and ready to ride.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene. You guys are watching Primed and Lube Season 4, Episode 11 for December the 15th, 2024. Happy holidays to the pit crew. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Hope you guys aren't too cold. Most of you guys that are probably watching this are out of Edmonton, and I think it's a little chilly there. I'm lucky enough to live in Vernon, where it's been hovering around 1 and -3, so it's been pretty nice over here. One thing that is hot is the red hot oil, as they got 3 huge wins against 3 tough opponents. Again, controversy has erupted again this week with the offside challenge and that. So my poll question is regarding the offside challenge. We'll get into that shortly. And what else do I got here? And then chime in for final thoughts after the segment here, and I will answer your questions, post your comments, and go forth. Just a heads up, guys, this is also going to be my last episode for a couple of weeks. I do have some family coming in from Edmonton here into Vernon, so I have to make my studio, which is actually a bedroom, back to a bedroom again. So I'm going to have to kind of unplug a lot of equipment and move a lot of equipment around. So I should be returning back on January 5th. That being said, that is tentative because we are dealing with a bit of a family situation as well. But I hope to be back by the 5th. And when I do come back, the first episode will have the rig report, obviously, for the month of December. The following week, I'm going to do the reflections piece. Going forward, the reflections piece is going to be a piece I'm going to do once a month. I'm not going to do it every week anymore. There's a lot of work involved with it, and I just don't have the time to focus on that and with what I'm focusing with family and stuff like that. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, in the spirit of giving and the season of giving, if you guys like the content I deliver, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. It'll help grow my channel and help grow to bigger things. And I only want you to do it if you like the content I bring. I don't ask you to subscribe if you think it's lousy content. I try to improve every day. Am I perfect? No. In fact, this episode here is actually the second take because for whatever reason, I was looking at my armbar, and I think it had something to do with my VPN, but it was saying I had no internet connection. But then after I looked back at it, I did, but I end up kind of shutting that episode down that I initially shot at 11 o'clock, because you guys know I usually come on 11 o'clock. And I realized that it was the icon was saying there was no internet connection, but it was still actually recording. So I basically deleted the first one. This is take 2. Hopefully this one will work out much better. 3 amazing games this week by the Edmonton Oilers against very, very tough teams. One that's kind of on their way out in the Tampa Bay Lightning, but the Minnesota Wild, a handily ass whooping by the Edmonton Oilers there on a team that has had their number for the last several years. And of course, the Golden Knights, a pretty good game at the Rogers Place in Edmonton yesterday afternoon. So we're going to start off with the first game, and that was the Lightning and Oilers. Now, once again, the Tampa Bay Lightning are nowhere near the team that they were, in the bubble era, when they won the Stanley Cup on Edmonton Oilers ice. If you do recall, I'll still never forget that, watching Kucherov carrying around the cup, and then you see all the Oiler banners in the background. I was just like, I didn't like that feeling. But they're kind of a shade of that team from yesteryear, but they're still a pretty good team. Are they a contender? Not so much. Are they a team that's probably going to be rebuilding in the next couple of years? Yeah, right now they're still in retooling mode, trying to save what they can. But I mean, with Stamkos gone, Sergachev is gone. Like a lot of the key players from that era is gone. Anyway, let's get into that game. It was a pretty good game for the Oilers, as I'm not going to complain about it. This was December 10th at Rogers Place, a 2-1 win for the Oilers. And this game, I think, is the game that they were winning a few games prior to this, but this was a game that really set the tone for the Edmonton Oilers mojo to come back. So let's take a look at the takeaways. McDavid continues to rebound from his slow start after only 10 points in his first 11 games. Since then, he has recorded 28 points in his last 14 games, more like McDavid. It was the 57th time in his career he scored a game's opening goal. You knew he wasn't going to stay hybrid for long. Edmonton took a 2-1 lead with 8 minutes left to play in the second period as Lightning goalie Andrei Vasilevsky made a big stop on Draisaitl on the breakaway and attempted to sweep the rebound away safely, only to have defender Victor Hedman have it carom off of him and into the net. The goal went into the books as Draisaitl's league-leading 20th of the year. That was the key moment. For the key stat, the game featured one of the last 8 Art Ross trophies. The game featured the last 8 Art Ross Trophy winners in Edmonton, with Edmonton's McDavid, Draisaitl, and Tampa's Kucherov. The last time a game featured the last 8 Art Ross winners at the same time was on January 25th, 1997, featured Wayne Gretzky of the Rangers taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins and Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr. That trio combined for 21 consecutive Art Ross trophies between 1981 and 2001. That's ridiculous, man. That is unheard of. When I read that, I was like, that's crazy. So my take is, when will the NHL put a time cap on the offside challenge? Now, this is also going to be the poll question, guys. Sorry to break it to you, Gary, but being offside by a hair is not relevant 45 seconds after that incident. Yeah, the poll question essentially is regarding to that. When are they going to put a time cap on it so that, that is not relevant anymore? I don't know exactly what it was. It was 30 some seconds after, but it was a goal was called back. Tampa, John Cooper challenged it. Tampa won the challenge. And it's like, really? Like, do we really need, I'm in favor, even if it works against the Oilers that way, but change it up, man. After 15 seconds, I think it's fair to say that particular offside is now irrelevant to the play. 100%. So for my grade, so-and-so game, good enough to give them an A, and that's what they got, but they got the A- on it, just because it wasn't quite that dominating, but it was still a very good performance, a very hard-worked effort, a very good effort for the boys, and I am going to give them the salute. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at around the league. Unfortunately, we're not dealing with some unfortunate situations like bad hits and suspensions and that. It's the season of giving, guys. So we're going to talk about contracts. We're going to talk about waivers claimed and all that kind of stuff on this particular episode. And let's start diving into that as Scott Laughton of the Flyers records or ties a Flyers record. I don't got my glasses on, guys, so I usually have contacts, but I don't even have contacts on. So I apologize for it, for my failure to read properly. Scott Laughton ties a Flyers record with 4 goals in a win. I was surprised to hear this stat, considering Bobby Clark's never got 5 goals, considering Claude Giroux in his prime never got 5 goals. I'm surprised no one on the Philadelphia Flyer organization ever had a 5-goal game. But then again, I make it sound like it's an easy task to do. I mean, there's only a few player in the history that has done that. I don't even think McDavid has done it. Yeah, McDavid hasn't done it yet because, or maybe he has. I'm not sure. No, I don't think he has because that Safeway or save on score and win, whatever it is now, they would have gave it. And I think the only time they've given the million was in a Winnipeg game. They did give 100,000 when we had the real deal James Neal when he scored 4 for us, one person. So one person was able to get $100,000. But that just goes to show you it's a tough thing to do. Wild claim defenseman Travis Dermott off of waivers from the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, we waived him, and he is now part of the Minnesota Wild organization as they are hurting a little bit for the D themselves right now with so many injuries. Cam Fowler traded to the Blues. What are the St. Louis Blues doing? They're really gearing up to make a run this year. I think getting Holloway and Broberg really put them into a position of, hey, we may not be sellers this year. We may be buyers this year. Huge pickup. Cam Fowler is going to be good for the Blues. They got Philip Broberg now. Dylan Holloway's looked really good. I really wish we would have kept him, but unfortunately, the Cards didn't. And he would have been cheap, too. The Cards didn't work out that way, unfortunately. Mackenzie Blackwood victorious in stopping 38 of 40 shots in Colorado Avalanche debut. There's another goalie that I was hoping the Oilers would consider getting. And I'm not shooting any shots at Stuart Skinner, but, I mean, Mackenzie Blackwood would have been a nice pickup. Golden Knights sign free agent Keegan Colster to a 3-year, $7.5 million extension. 'Tis the season, and the giving is getting better now that the salary cap's going up, all these players. And watch Mackenzie Blackwood. What if Shesterkin was able to get what he got, what does Mackenzie Blackwood, if he continues rolling the way he is, that is. I mean, he's got to go without a hiccup, but he'll get some pretty good change as well. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at like an amazing game this week. Like a team that the Edmonton Oilers have had nothing but problems with. And I'll even give you their the last 30 games of what they've done when I read off this result. But an absolute ass whooping of the Wild, and good to see because this is a team that has had our number for so long. Okay, 7-1. 7-1. Oh, I couldn't believe it, man. For a team that has had so much difficulty against, for them to go into their barn. Anyway, I'll get into it. It's all basically part of my rundown of this game. Following a rough start, Edmonton has caught stride behind one of the NHL's most productive skaters, Leon Draisaitl. He now has 4 goals and 6 assists in his last 4 games. Now, keep in mind, this is based off of the game against Minnesota, so he's actually done a few more points since then. Minnesota's Matt Boldy was whistled for tripping with less than 7 minutes elapsed, queuing up the league's 29th ranked power play or penalty kill. 5 seconds later, Leo would one-time a feed from co-star Connor McDavid. The goal was later awarded to Hyman, who pressed against the post and gave space, but the puck deflected off of the stick shaft, and the Wild have yielded 11 power play goals in the last 10 games. The key stat, Draisaitl is on pace for 118 points, which would be 10 shy of his career high from last year, 22, 23? Yeah, last year. So good for him. My take, after the results of this game, the Edmonton Oilers now have a record of 10-18-2 against the Wild in the last 30. And for the Oilers to lay down such an ass whooping in their barn is absolutely amazing. Hence the unprecedented grade that I'm about to give them. Guys, I do have a standard. I go from A+ to a fail, but this one deserves 100% an A++. I don't think I'm going to give that grade out again. That's how rare that is going to be. It was just that good of a game. That amazing to watch the Oilers just absolutely destroy the Wild. Okay, so we are going to go into the poll question. And again, this relates to the game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. As I really do believe the NHL has to do something regarding their zone restriction time and what they have. Okay, so here we go. We should zone time be restricted to 15 seconds. Now, guys, you could say 20 seconds or 30 seconds. I put 15 seconds because I think that's where it should be capped at. But should the zone restriction time be capped at 15 seconds for offside? So what that basically means is if you enter the zone on a missed offside call, if 16 seconds appear, should the offside not should the challenge be disregarded? I mean, there's been so many things that have happened. It becomes irrelevant at a certain point. Or does the player have to keep going in and out of the zone? I don't agree with that offside call being called 45 seconds later when it was just a hair offside. I don't agree with it at all. So anyway, scan the QR code, guys. Place your votes, and then we will report the results on future episodes. Okay. So the Oilers and Knights, the third game of the week that was just another, and I was looking forward to this one. I was really, really looking forward to this game as we saw what we saw two Saturdays ago, or one Saturday ago, when they lost 1-0 to the Wild. But the Oilers would come out victorious in this one, and they would come out pretty convincing. There was some bad mistakes there was a real bad blunder by Stuart Skinner, and he's all familiar with it. And I know I'm sounding like the Stu hater. He has been playing very, very well. I'm not saying he hasn't, but he did make a bad blunder. And we've seen it a few times now. I really would like him to have better control of that puck and behind of his net, because that really irks me. That's too amateur, too beer leaguish for that mistake to happen that many times. I mean, once every couple of years maybe, but I don't know. That's just my take on it. Anyway, let's get into that here. As we will get into that's game number 3. There we go. So, December 14th, Rogers Place. This was yesterday afternoon, which the Edmonton Oilers once again will be playing the San Jose Sharks next Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, another early one. Again, guys, this is going to be my final episode until January the 5th is when I'm likely to come back, as I do have family coming in from Edmonton for the holidays. So I will be shutting the channel down, which kind of sucks because the Oilers are playing the Panthers tomorrow, and I would have loved to do a report on that one, but unfortunately not. Okay, let's get into this one against the Golden Knights. For the key moments, the Oilers went up 4-0 midway through the second period when Darnell Nurse made a perfect backhand pass to Draisaitl on the doorstep, and he tapped home his league-leading 22nd goal of the season. The guy is on fire, man. The guy is on fire. And I'm so happy we locked him up for another 8 years. Okay. It was Hyman's 5th goal in as many games since returning from injury, and his 8th of the season. That's the key stat. Hyman and Nuge are really starting to pick up their games too, which is really comforting to see. The question is Arvidsson going to pick up when he comes back? Skinner's slowly getting into the fold too. So that's Jeff Skinner, by the way. He's slowly starting to pick it up as well. Okay, my take. A very questionable cross-check in the numbers by Jack Eichel on Matthias Ekholm in the second period once again has me scratching my head at the integrity of the game. How was that not a penalty? How was that not a major? That was directly in the numbers. Very dangerous play. Don't understand the rules. I don't understand. This referee says no. This one says yes. I'm really, really questioning the integrity of the game. Like, this is getting to a point of absolute, like, I was reading some message on Twitter saying it's a bush league, it's garbage, da-da-da. There's got to be some kind of standard. That was definitely, for sure, at least a 2-minute call, but I think it was worse. It was a dangerous play. It was a very dangerous play. Now, I know the plays happen fast in that, but still, it was a cross-check to the numbers, sending Ekholm into the boards very awkwardly. I would like the NHL to do, I would like, on a particular play like that, I don't know if coaches are allowed a challenge on that, but they should be able to get a challenge that doesn't cost them a penalty in the event that that it's overturned and not counted. They should not get charged a penalty for that, because that's we're talking about the integrity of the game here. We're talking the safety of the players. Like, that's very dangerous. Anyway, I'm going to get off of that one right now because that really bothered me seeing that. For the game grade, they get a B, and it was actually an A plus, and then it went down to an A minus, and then it went down to a B. And the reason why I went down to a B is they started getting a little sloppy in the later portion there, or later portion of the second, I believe it was. And then that play by Skinner, I didn't really like it. So it actually demoted them a little bit for that. But a still very good week for the Edmonton Oilers. Very good effort. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain at all with the way they played this week. It's Christmas for all of us in Oil Nation, for sure. 100%. So good job to the boys this week. Very, very proud of you. Okay, so let's take a look at the current standings of the West as the Winnipeg Jets have once again taken command over the Western Conference and now have first place possession again. And I'm just going to grab my sheet of who went up and who went down. So Winnipeg goes up 1, Minnesota goes 1 down 1. Vegas and LA stay even. Edmonton has jumped up 2 spots from last week. They are now sitting in 5th place in the West. So they're starting to come around, man. That's the good thing. Dallas stays even. Colorado up 2 spots. Vancouver now on the playoff cusp, the playoff cutoff line, as they lost 3 spots. That's the most significant loss by any team in the West, as they've have lost 3 spots. Calgary loses a spot. Utah goes up 2. Seattle stays even. St. Louis goes -2. And then San Jose, Anaheim, Washington, and Chicago stay status quo in their respective spots from what they were last week. Okay, so let's take a look at the upcoming games, and there is a couple of doozies, as the Edmonton Oilers will be taking on the Florida Panthers tomorrow night. Now, I want to know what you guys think about this, because I have Amazon Prime, so I'll be able to watch the game, no problem. But this is the Stanley Cup rematch. This shouldn't be just on Sportsnet West or Sportsnet Pacific. This should be a nationally broadcasted game. How is it possible that Amazon Prime is the only one that's going to be airing this game? I feel bad for the guys that don't have, because you shouldn't have to buy another subscription package to watch this game. Like, I have it, but man, it shouldn't. This should be a National League broadcasted game. So I have a bit of a problem with that, considering this was not just a Stanley Cup rematch. This is one that went the distance. This is Game 7. This was a series to remember, and nearly a comeback for the ages if the Oilers would have pulled off Game 7. So, yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm an Amazon Prime member, but I'm disappointed that you fans out there that don't have Amazon Prime have to have Amazon Prime to watch this game. I think there's got to be, like, I understand they're trying to make money so they can pay the players more and more, but you got to dabble with that very carefully because you don't alienate your fan base either by doing this kind of stuff. Anyway, let's get into this particular matchup against the Panthers, as this should be a good one, as the Panthers for offensive stats are 6th in the league for goals, 4th in the league for shots on goal, 7th in the league for power play, 28th in the league for faceoffs. So they're really not good on the dot, considering the Oilers are 3rd in the league. So I anticipate Edmonton having a 60% plus on the dot for this game, considering when I look at those two stats. So why is that an important stat? Well, if you win faceoffs, you're probably going to be in possession of puck a little bit more often, which means you're going to wear out the other team a little bit more often. So that could be a factor. But then again, that other team is the current defending Stanley Cup champions. They're tied for 8th for shooting percentage. Defensively, 24th in the league for goals allowed, 6th in the league for shots on goal allowed, 28th in the league for penalty minutes, and 10th in the league for the penalty kill. The last time they met was on June 24th, 2024. I think we all remember that day. In a 2-1 victory for the Florida Panthers that gave them the Stanley Cup. Yeah. It still makes me want to cry. Anyway, Sergei Bobrovsky is going to come into this game with a 13-6 record with a 287 goals against average and an 892 save percentage with 1 shootout. So he's actually underperforming Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner will come into this game with an 11-7-2 with a 282 goals against average and an 897, slightly underperforming him. And Stuart has 1 shutout as well. Edmonton is coming in on 5 wins, so they're coming in hot. Meanwhile, the Panthers, the opposite direction with 2 losses. The last 10, the Panthers are 6-3-1. The Oilers are 8-2. So Oilers are looking really good, and I am anticipating a good response for the Edmonton Oilers in this particular game. Next up, they're going to take on a team that has been usually pretty dominating for so many years in the Boston Bruins, but they actually struggled so much this year that they got rid of their head coach, who now is on St. Louis. And the name's not coming to me. I apologize. But they got a new coach. The reason why that's significant is he also won the coach that got fired won the Jack Adams only 2 years ago, and he's already been relieved of his duties from Boston. But this is a team that has not been playing very well this year so far. So for the Boston Bruins, they're going to be coming into the league with 29th in the league for goals, 20th in the league for shots on goal, 31st in the league on the power play, tied for 10th in the league for faceoffs, 29th in the league for shooting percentage, 22nd in the league for shots on goal allowed, 10th in the league for the one was goals allowed, shots on goal allowed, they're 10th in the league, 32nd in the league for penalty minutes, 22nd in the league for the penalty kill. Jeremy Swayman, the guy who got a huge contract at the beginning of the year, has an 888 save percentage, not very good at all. He got the money, and now he's not really performing to that amount of money. That's why it's really tricky for GMs to negotiate contracts with goaltenders, because they want their money. They say, no, I'm worth this much. And the team says, no, I don't think you are. And usually the team is probably dead bang on that, yeah, not really worth that much. But if you don't sign him, then you lose him. And then he goes to someone that is willing to pay. That's where it gets tricky for GMs, and that's where I feel bad for GMs. Because it's really tough to say, like, to give. Well, and I guess that applies to all players. You know, they think they're worth something. Someone out there in the other 31 teams is going to think that yeah, that player is worth it, right? Just like what happened with the Edmonton Oilers and the offer sheets with Broberg. Someone thought Broberg was worth, what is $4 million that he got, $4.5 million. St. Louis thought he was worth $4.5 million. They paid him. So yeah, Boston underperforming this year. The last time they met was on March 5th last year, just before the playoffs, in a 2-1 win for the Oilers. And the Oilers, again, 5 wins. Boston won their last one, last 10, 6-4 for the Bruins, 8-2 for the Oilers again. But it should be an interesting game to see what happens. Then the Oilers will take on one of the worst, not the worst, but one of the worst teams in the league, who have been the worst team for several years now, in the San Jose Sharks. And that'll be next Saturday. That'll be next Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m., just like what we had this weekend with the Vegas Golden Knights. San Jose, let's see, they're 23rd for goals. They're 25th in the league for shots on goal, 23rd for the power play, 20th for faceoffs, 20th for shooting percentage, 28th for goals allowed, 31st for shots on goal allowed. So defensively, really, really, really struggling. And probably more so now that they don't have Mackenzie Blackwood, as he got dealt to the Colorado Avalanche. So that was probably their saving grace. I don't know what they're going to do now without him in net, because he was probably their best player. 18th in the league for penalty minutes, 12th in the league for the penalty kill. San Jose will be coming into this game with a record of 11, 17, and 5. They'll probably have a few games before this game actually takes place next Saturday, so they'll have a bit of a variance in their record. Alexander Georgiev comes in with a .295 goals against average, .873 save percentage. And Stuart Skinner with a .282 goals against average, .897. So obviously goaltending is definitely going to be the favorite thing. I'm anticipating the Oilers to absolutely hammer on the Sharks. That being said, these are the games that the Oilers seem to always have trouble against. It's these weak teams, the Anaheims, the Chicagos, that. So the Edmonton Oilers seem to get up for the games that really count, that really matter. So we'll see what happens here as the Edmonton Oilers will take on San Jose, and that'll wrap it up. And again, I won't be doing a game review for these as I return to the channel on January the 5th. So yeah, as I'm going to be taking a bit of a break for the holidays as I got family coming in once again. So let's get into your final thoughts and what you guys have to say here. Definitely some comments did come in from Renegade Man here, so I'm going to get that up here real quick here. Let's get it up. And chime in if you want, if you're still hanging out while this is being live. But yeah, you can text in your comments. And even if you can't text it in when I'm live, you can always text it into the mailbox below. Let's go into some of the comments here. And these are all from Renegade Man. Skinner is playing excellent in the past 6 starts. I know everyone will shit on him with that Vegas third goal. Whatever. He's not the first goalie to do that and won't be the last. True enough. But again, Renegade Man, it happens too often. Every goalie makes a blunder like that at some point in time in their career. But I just would like to see a little bit better result here. Okay, 1 second. 2. Okay. Losing Dermott is not a big loss, but claiming Rugula is interesting. He's playing with Bouchard when they were playing with the London Knights. Yeah, it could be, but, does the chemistry still kicking. That's what they were saying when we got Connor Brown. Well, Connor Brown played with McDavid, and it didn't really gel out. So, I mean, with that many years that pass and different, the one good thing is they still have that same coach. So maybe they will find that chemistry together. Oh, no, actually, no. He played with the London Knights, so they didn't even have Knobloch. Yeah. And that's, yeah. So going back to the Erie Otters, Connor Brown and McDavid and Knobloch were all together and they didn't gel. So I guess we'll have to wait and see for sure. Hopefully the Oilers will get another long winning streak. The Oilers seem to be really stuck at the start of this season. Yeah, every year they do. You know what? I don't care if the Oilers go on a long winning streak, but I do want them to get enough wins to put them in good home ice advantage position. Hopefully they keep KK and Pods with Draisaitl going forward, even when Kane and Arvidsson come back. Zolan is a player. They're going to keep him. They are going to keep him. KK. Who's KK? Who's KK? Oh, I can't think of it right now. But Zolan, he's definitely that block shot that he took. He's a player. I'm so happy we got him. I talked to one of my coworkers. I do live in Vernon, so I work with some Vancouver Canucks fans, and one of the guys I talked to that's a real hockey, and he talks good. He talks good stuff about the Oilers. We have real good, honest conversations with each other about our teams. And I told him, I'm like, Oilers, like Vancouver, I think had a big loss by giving him up. He's really proven to me that he deserves it. Anyway, guys, once again, I just want to wish everyone out there happy holidays, all the best in the new year, all the health and wealth, as my mom would always say, and hopefully my mom's health will get better. But anyway, guys, I'm going to be out of here for a couple of weeks. I do have family coming in. So obviously I'm going to be having to shuffle my equipment around a little bit, and it'll probably be all unplugged and unwired, and my lighting's going to be all put away. So I will see you in a couple of weeks. Again, when I come back, I will be coming back with a rig report for the month of December. And then the following week, I will do another installment of Reflections. But until then, guys, I am going to shut her down, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.